build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me ball, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm the host, Matty, tonight. Joined by Brian and Craig. Brian and Craig, how are you doing?
All right.
Good. You get to think about that.
Well, I've got red wine and Stella, so this is going to go well.
Decent. Craig, what about you? Your heat looks massive tonight.
My heat is massive, mate, all the time. Nah, I'm beaming to you from pretty much mine and my wee boy's seat.
Happy days.
Living the dream. I've just
I take it you didn't see much of the game.
To be fair, this is the way that I fucking face most of the time at Easter Road. But nah, I've just got over a cold, mate. And I don't know, like, have any of you been unwell recently? Like, obviously no with COVID or that, but I found it since aye, but since like the lockdown and that, I've not been unwell because I've been stuck in it. But like, I went out today, and obviously I've got this fucking cough, and cunts are looking at me like I'm a leper. I've not got it. I've had like 5 tests this week. I've not got it. It's just a man flu. Let me wallow in my own self-pity, please. Get out my sight.
Well, you're in the right place if you're wanting sympathy. Oh, no, sorry, you're not. Tell I. Also, because it's a pre-cut final special, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the boys who down the slope. So start with Ewan. Ewan, how are you doing?
Not bad, Matty. Cheers. What about you?
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm not bad, what about you?
Oh, yeah, good, thanks. Sorry, just didn't quite catch the last bit there. Also got Liam on. Joe, I nearly called you Leon. Because we were talking before, and I said Liam, I'm like, oh, fuck, I've got that wrong, and I've got it right. Liam, how are you doing?
Doing well, mate. Cheers.
Good. And Greg, how are you doing?
I'm all good, thanks.
I thought initially, Greg, you had the away strip from like the sort of Zamama, John Hughes era, but it's just a kind of similar looking top, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a remake of a 88 style Adidas top with green and purple, so I thought I'd wear this tonight for user.
I like it. I like it a lot. Right, so this is our cup final preview special. So we're going to just wire straight into the questions because we've got a fucking load of them to get through. First question comes from the Hibs review. It says, how does this Hibs team compare to the one that finished 4th in their first season back in the top flight under Neil Lennon? Who wants to take that one first?
Better than the first half of the season, no as good as the second half of that season. Because before, but I still think this team would beat them. I think this team would set up and stifle fuck out of them and beat them 1-0. But much better than the first half of that season, I reckon, like with Stokes and Murray and that. But then when Scott Allen, Canberra and McLaren came in, we really clicked after January.
You couldn't see this team putting 5 past Rangers.
No.
I know this Rangers.
Mind that night at Tynecastle though. I think this current team could do a similar job on them. And
anybody got a different opinion of that one, or we're going to the next question?
And given that it was Neil Lennon's team 4 years ago, this team's probably not shiting itself quite as much.
This is true. They're not having the duck chairs.
Etc.
Next question comes from Liam. Brian, you can take this one first. How long do you think you could survive locked in a supermarket eating only the food in the shop?
Months.
Right, why? What's your strategy?
Crisps. Probably tins of tuna. Red wine. Okay, I've not had in a long while. Rusks.
Not had rusks for fucking years either.
Fucking just sit in an aisle and just destroy boxes of rusks.
Okay, what would happen though? That'd be the day somebody come in to rescue you. So you've worked your way through everyone else and you're just sitting with the rusks and they come in and just go, what the fuck are you eating them for?
I'm mad at fuck.
if you're caught there with a bottle of red wine and the rusks at the same time, it would just be like flashbacks. When this takes me back. The early days of having kids, like, you know what I mean?
Rusks, a bottle of red wine in an adult magazine. It's a perfect night in. Greg, what about you? How long would you last?
Probably no long, to be fair. I don't think I could cope with it. I think I'd you just miss different things, like you'd miss your bed and all that. So
You can make a bed out of something, no? Like there's tons of stuff like the Tesco next to me. He's got
I know,
fucking
but
loads of stuff. You could
Depends
just
what supermarket it is, yeah.
the same shite every night. Because let's be honest, you're only making like slap up meals in there, are you?
Aye, but it could, but it,
How
I
no?
know, but no,
How no?
it could be a Costco.
Too
It could
lazy.
be a Costco, so
But-
you could have mattresses, you could have hot tubs, you could have massive tellies and that. You could automate the tobacco. Remember the old tobacco cage you'd get in the old Costco and that,
at the
mate?
backside, aye.
Oh, I'd be a 50 a day, man, me.
I re-
How much
I
are you
reckon-
buying on sunglasses?
You'd be hoping
I'm
for
fine.
one
I reckon you
with
could
a
go for
pharmacist
months,
in
like
it.
that. I reckon you could go for months. Just fuck it, like fuck all the good meat in that into like the freezer. That'll be as good for as long as you want, and
Aye.
use the ovens and create your own pizza bits in that. I have and unashamedly had like 5 create your own pizzas 5 nights in a row before. So I'd be fucking cushy. Like I'm happy to go. And like most supermarkets got PlayStations and that up the back corner. Fucking hear it sound.
Oh,
Had you've not thought
the
about that in
rotisserie
too much
chicken.
depth, Ewan. You've
No,
obviously
but I just
just thought
pictured
of that on
that.
the spot.
I just-
You've
I
definitely not
just
thought of it.
I just knew you'd give something shite, so I thought I'd better represent us, all right.
I'd be like a Trinent Bear Grylls. Just surviving on Pringles for fucking months.
Kunsel charcuterie.
Like,
Drink-
eating your own
drink-
shite even though you didn't have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Liam, what about you?
I don't know what I can say that can top any of that, to be honest. I think I would be, because John's not here, I think you have to take a logical approach. So I'm going to speak for John here and say that I would get a wee spreadsheet on the go and figure out all the best before dates, all the gear, and work my way down to the stuff that was most perishable that was going to go out of date first. And then I'd be thinking, actually, I could probably go for five, maybe 10 years.
To be fair, though, the amount of time that it would take John to make that spreadsheet, everything would go out of date anyway, and he'd probably just die of starvation.
Just tracking his BMI on a daily basis.
I thought about it when I saw the question. I was like, "Oh, that's like it's a good shout." And then the first thing that came to mind, obviously, the Tesco's up at me has got my air fryer in it, so I was like, "Well, fucking sorted there." But then I was like, "You could make stuff and freeze it, like you said, you, and that's quite like a good approach." And so before you're even touching the tin stuff, you're prepped. But I'm a greedy cunt, and I thought what would happen is I just go overboard on the first couple of days and probably die. Then you're like just for like food poisoning or overindulging. So I don't think I'd last long at all. Craig, you must have done this kind of similar thing with trying to survive out in the fucking woods or whatever with the Navy.
Oh, mate. I don't even want to talk about it.
Brings back bad memories.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, they're the
They're the good memories.
No, I think, as I say, it can't really be topped. But the question is too vague. It depends on what the shop is. If it's like,
If it was Waitrose or something, you'd be ready to just top yourself after about half hour.
if it's a Waitrose, they'd probably find some way to bleed me dry of all my life savings, even though I'm the only one in there anyway. So, nah.
Be alright if it was Aldi, you'd be able to kind of kick him out with the circular saw or whatever they've got in fucking offer that week as well. Like
No, I couldn't deal with Aldi. I cannot deal. I think we've had this conversation before. I'm going to rant. I cannot deal with the fact that if you go into Aldi and you walk up to the end of an aisle, you take the next one, walk back down, the final aisle that you go on, you end up at the back end of the shop and know what it tells you. And they do it purposely so that you have to walk back down and buy more things. They're at it, and that would wind me up. I'd just trash the place. I'd go mental. Fuck off.
Dying of hunger, but it's like Rangers have been celebrating there. Right, Alex asks, can we make double slang a thing? My mate always refers to his manhood as his King of Nairobi, which rhymes with Bobby, which is slang for penis. I think that's hilarious. So double slang, is used any particular slang that you use for things?
Oh, I reckon we've got so much slang that I can't even think of any. Like, know what I mean? But I've not got Alex levels of humour in me. Like, I'm useless on this. Yeah.
I went through a period in my early 20s where I tried to use, like, you know, you look back on your fucking like Facebook memories like 10 years ago and you see some of your old statuses and you just want to fucking hurt yourself when you see them. I went through a period in my early 20s where I used to try and use rhyming slang for every single sentence I said on Facebook. So I'd be like, oh, I'm going out for a Don Revy with a box of toys. Absolutely fucking just shit like that. Looking back, I was, what was I doing? What was I thinking?
Okay, the worst thing about Facebook status when you look at old ones is, right, I don't care how long you've been using Facebook, but at the start it would say, like, Matty Fairney is, and then you would complete the sentence, and you'll read those ones and you think, what a cunt. Like, that's a horrendous thing. You can, feeling happy. Fuck off. Aye, bollocks. A Basil Bowley.
Comments on Facebook, though. Aye.
Going away for a Basil Bowley. Brian, you must have some good ones.
Well, if I'm going for a shite, I prefer an Axel Foley or a Marco Fu. To be honest, this is a bit risky, but if you were questioning a man's sexuality, I would normally use he's a wee bit behind with the rent, or he's a bit stuck on Trent. Can't really get away with that now, or back then either, to be fair. Trying to think of other ones. I came up with some.
That was a favourite trial.
I came up with some stupid ones, like none that I can remember, thankfully. Nah, they'll come back to me.
What about you, Greg?
It's the usual ones like, I'm going up the apples and pears and all that, like just shite patter like that.
One of the first days I met him, I started in the new team and at his team at work, and he turned and I went to the toilet. Oh, you away for a Tam Scobie? Like the kid, the wee boy, the cunt that played for Dundee United. That floored me for about an hour straight.
What the shite did?
Aye.
Those chicken at Morrison's are lethal. Like,
what was that?
Those chicken boxes at Morrison's are lethal, and like, when we were in work, we used to go for one like every day. Man, it was horrendous.
So about a week ago, right? Oh God. So I've moved into this new cabin and that, and I went out to, there's a wee Tesco in the back. I went in and got loads of stuff and all that. And I was trying to be healthy and that, right? And I don't know anything about nutrition and all that. I'm not one of these fitness guys. Like, I'll go to the gym, I'll go for a run, but I don't know anything.
I'll tell you all about it later, Craig.
Cheers, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. But I got into the Tesco. I was like, what am I going to get like for snacks? And I got like a bag of apricots, like, the dried apricots. I thought, I like a wee bit of fruit. That'll be healthier than whatever. Not realizing that it's like full of sugar or that. Whatever. I ate the whole packet, and I was sat down. I was on the FaceTime with the wife, and I was like, my stomach doesn't feel that good, And she was like, what? Have you eaten anything like that? And I was like, no. And she's like, what did you get at the shop? And I was like, I ate these packet apricots. She starts pushing herself. She's like, I give them to the kids when they're all stuck up and that. Like, you know what I mean? You should have eaten a full pack of them. Honestly, it was the most violent tole I've ever had in my life. I was on it for about 45 minutes. So whatever you do not tan a packet of apricots, because you know when you have a shite and it ends up spraying above the bowl, like round the rim and that, grim.
That defies gravity. Brilliant.
Painting porcelain, honking.
See, just before we came on, just be talking about toilets and stuff, right? Before we came on, I was at a walk with one of my mates, and I'll tell the backstory to. He had this new jacket that he'd got for Decathlon. Right? You know Decathlon at Hermiston Gate. He was explaining how it was waterproof and that. And I think if you've been out there at any point, when you get to the checkout, you just chuck everything in this basket, and it like fucking scans it. Like, you don't have to do every barcode. Chuck it in the basket, and it kens what's there. I said, that's pretty fucking smart, eh? And he says, what do you think would happen if you teabagged it? And I was like, what? Like, do you not think that would be, what do you think would come up if you teabagged it? And then he said,
null and void.
Unexpected item in the teabagging area.
In the teabagging area. He says, kid, the Dyson airblade things. He says, have you ever wanted to teabag one of them? He says, I was going to do it on my last day at work. I was like, fucking, he says, but you'd be flapping about like this. So imagine somebody come in, it'd be the day when the person that you respect the most at work comes in and just catches you as you're kind of lowering yourself down.
Played bonkers with yourself.
Aye, anyway. I suppose you might have to do that if you've shat and defied gravity and kind of soaked yourself and you need to kind of dry yourself off afterwards. Right, 150k on Hanlon Hill. Says, I'm gathering quotes down the slope. I've already been asked this question. Oh, aye. Sloppy seconds, Brian and Craig here. Right, what would you rather have? One massive hand or one... We've asked this one as well. One massive hand or one massive foot? Best answer gets the job. Don't know what the job is, but... right, Craig, start go round the clockwise. Massive hand or massive...
I'd like to bend the rules a bit. I'd rather have one tiny hand just to make my cock look a decent size. Not too much to ask.
Care if you're bending the rules, why did you just ask for one massive cock? if you're changing the question, just do that. What about you? Do you remember what you answered?
I'm not selfish.
I think I said one massive hand so I could just walk about slapping cunts. Like, I think because I just watched a video of Kevin Hart and one of the American TV presenters, so it was actually fresh in my head that day. They were, and you could just fuck a foam finger on the other hand, and you'd be good to go with. Like, you'd be all right.
Like, how big is a massive hand? Like, is it problematic when you're driving?
I reckon it's just like Liam's size. You've seen them? Get them up to the camera.
These things are fucking giant. Like,
they're pretty big. Look bigger if you put, like, mine looks massive if I do that until it disappears fucking weirdly. Fuck, I'm not doing that again. I was like Back to the Future. Something terrible was happening. What about you, Liam? A big hand and a big foot?
Well, I think seeing as we're fucking changing the question, I'll just take a really big salary. That'll do me. That'll make me happy.
Fair dues. Greg?
I was a big hand. I couldn't deal with walking about with like one shoe that's like a size 20 and one shoe that's like a size 9. So it would have to be a big hand, and when it gets to winter, you can deal with gloves then, but it would have to be a big hand.
I suppose with a big foot, you'd be like a kind of funny version of Kaiser Soze. No Kaiser Soze that comes on the podcast, Kaiser Soze for the film.
Aye. The big foot, you just fall over all the time, no?
Well, it might prevent you falling. You'd be like a human weeble.
Just walk about on the one foot all the time.
It'd be a nightmare though if you were like going swimming or that, because you'd just be going in like circles. No, but do you reckon they would bring you out to like if you had a big foot though, you could do like, you know, like the halftime entertainment at Easter Road. Like you could come out and kick like a fucking giant ball or something like that.
I think that's problematic as well, Craig. Like, I think you're effectively getting into sort of disabilities and stuff, and if you're bringing that out as at halftime entertainment, you're getting about fucking dodgy territory, aren't you?
Well, I don't know. Oh, maybe it ups your chances of getting in the halftime entertainment. Like, you know what I mean?
I never thought about it for a disability, like a wee, get a wee bit extra cash in the back pocket. If he kens a guy, then send him that way.
Yeah, parking spaces as well.
When you're on the plane as well, like there's no that much leg room as it is. You imagine sticking a big foot in there and all.
You really restrict. You can't go a bike. You're fucked.
Certainly couldn't go to the toilet on a plane. Have to leave your leg outside.
Brian, what about you?
I'd probably go for the big foot, and then I think I would just go into shoe zone and just fuck them up. You can imagine, like, the end of the month when they're doing a stock take and it's like, a fucking minute.
John sat in a big way spreadsheet.
This doesn't balance.
I've
got 13 size 10 shoes here.
Right, next question comes to Alex. He says, I always ensure I have emergency pork pies in case of emergencies. Do any of you lads have protocol in place for emergencies, or am I a weirdo? Right, Brian, start with you. Do you carry any pocket snacks with you in case of
Condoms.
Like, there's not really a snack, is it? Unless you're kind of pretending it's bubble gum.
I've had many weird things in my mouth, Matthew.
Right.
He's not using it for sex. He's using it for swallowing all the drugs that he's fucking importing and exporting.
I'll edit that out later, Brian. Don't worry.
Does that count as a snack?
Greg, what about you? Partial to a pocket snack?
I don't miss many meals, to be fair. So snacks are the last thing I need. So I try and avoid them. I don't really carry anything in my pocket, but I'm always very paranoid. I don't know if anyone else is about their phone being out of charge and them being out somewhere. But that makes me so para.
So would you take a charger with you?
Nah, I would just, if I left the house and it was on 70, I'd just stick it in up to 100. I would need to, because I don't know why, it's just something weird, but I've got OCD with my phone. Has to be 100% when I leave the house.
I just have to worry too much about it. I don't like it when it gets down below 20. The 20 to 0 goes faster than 100 to 80. I reckon why that is.
20 to 1 goes like fuck, and then 1 lasts for hours.
That's true. Ewan, what about you? What's your emergency snack situation?
I didn't have an emergency snack situation anymore because I'm a recovering fat bastard. But in terms of having standbys, I'm sure I speak on behalf of every male in the world that if you're going on holiday for 7 days, you pack 25 pair of boxers because apparently you shite yourself every day. Why? Can anyone just confirm why we do that? You go away for 7 days, you pack, everyone will pack 14 pair of boxers. Why?
Brian?
I take 14 if I'm going on a weekend break.
Take a pair. So you like, if it's hot, if you're going somewhere hot, you'll have a pair for wearing through the days, and then when you want to go out to dancing later on, you want to change into a fresh pair.
Into the dancing.
Into the dancing. In the discotheque. The discotheque. The ballroom.
I don't know about you, but when we go to London, I'll be taking a fair few, just in case. Because the last thing you want to be doing is getting caught short.
Is that ever? Well, kind of something happened to you, Brian. But has anybody kind of had a need to change an emergency pair of boxer shorts halfway through the day? Nice one.
No.
You want to share, Liam?
No, absolutely not. Still got PTSD.
And where do you stand on the snack situation? Do you have an emergency pork pie or similar?
In the car, I keep some bits because about 5 or 6 years ago, I don't know if you remember that winter, but there was a really, really bad snow one winter, and the cars kind of ground to halt on the city bypass and all the roads around Edinburgh. And I wasn't stuck, but a colleague of mine told me they were stuck on the bypass for 5-6 hours. And ever since that story, I've always made sure that I've got something in the glove compartment of the car, which is really sad because if I was stuck for 5-6 hours and all I had to eat was a fucking cereal bar that I keep in the glove compartment of the car, I probably wouldn't be feeling any better about myself.
It's fucking brilliant if it's a pot noodle you've got away. I'm sorry, it'll be fine. Oh yeah.
You'd need that. You'd need that. You'd need that pish that you've stored for the seat. Was it last week to hear up?
What about you, Craig?
I don't take anything. He's weird. I'm saying he's weird. Fuck it.
Aye. I have iron brew in the car, and that's about the extent of it. And that's just to stop the kids choring it. Right, Kaiser Soze says, would you rather be a Jambo or a Hun? Craig?
Pass.
You can't pass. That's it's not the whole point of the game.
To be honest,
honestly, it's like I'd rather. What would I rather do? I'd rather hand by hand insert my dad into my gran than be either or. So, nah, no for me.
They're the same thing anyway, aren't they? So you can fucking pick either of them. It's like choosing whether
See what Craig just described there, though? Is that not the qualifying criteria to be a Hearts fan?
I hope not, because my dad's a Hearts fan, and that would make
that's like
I know what you get.
All right, next question. 150k on Hanlon Hill. Who would win in a freestyle grump off between Brian and Greg?
Me. I'd wipe the floor with him. Nobody can compete with me.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not always grumpy. Sometimes I come on here quite happy. It's like bipolar, which I hate being bipolar. It's fucking brilliant.
I was like, fucking, I mind my flatmate telling me they thought he was schizophrenic, and I couldn't even got a flatmate. Matty's air fryer, and I have to insist, this is the me that does this Twitter account, by the way, just to be absolutely clear on this. This is somebody.
I think it's John.
It's not John. I'll not reveal who it is. I can who it is, but it's no.
I know who it is. I think I know who it is. To be fair, he's been very vocal about the air fryer.
Aye.
I won't out him.
Nah, don't out him. So, hi guys, as Matty told you about his air fryer yet? If not, why not? It's me. He is my bro. Anyway, can each of you dare him to air fry a certain thing? Has to be something he likes. I'll have no trouble frying it. Cheers. Bye. What's the fucking weirdest thing you would air fry, Ryan?
Thai bride.
A what? A Thai bride?
Thai bride.
Okay.
How long for?
Stupid Matthew. Half an hour.
Half an hour. Everyone's half an hour. Anybody on board with the air fryers? Got one?
Aye. Fucking quality. Easy.
I did pork chops in it today. It was fucking lovely. Anyway. Right, enough of the air fryer chat. Longbangers doing the slope. Loyal. Can't read the rest of his name. His name's too long for Twitter to fucking cope with. Anyway, nipples for eyes or eyes for nipples? Liam, start with you.
I would do anything to get rid of the set of nipples that I've got at present, because mine's are fucking, honestly, any change in temperature and the things go off like so I'd probably take eyes instead of these things.
Okay, what would be funny is if that happened to your eyes instead. It was like the cartoon when like a kind of the cartoon wolf sees the sexy lady and the fucking eyes go out like that.
Fuck me, it's cold.
What about you, Ewan? Eyes for nipples or nipples for that? And we had this question when it was about testicles for ears or ears for testicles, and we weren't sure if it meant like a straight swap, or you would still have eyes, but you would also have eyes for nipples. Or
I think if it's a straight swap, then I think either way I'm having my eyes at nipple height. I don't want nipples kicking a bit up here, but I reckon because it'd just be like being 5'6", or like just see the world from a different perspective, and cover them up if you're gonna.
By the way, you think of what you would get away with, right? Because you think the conversations you have with certain people where your eyes are
them both. Aye, like
where your eyes are maybe drawn down a bit.
Aye.
And you'd be embarrassed if they called you out for it. If your eyes were at that height anyway, you're sorted.
Aye.
It's a pervert's dream.
You brought up.
For you and then.
What about you, Craig?
I think I tend to agree with everybody else. I think just that moment of like going into a swimming pool or that and taking your top off and just like, oh, what the fuck is that? But nah, I mean, the only good thing about having nipples on your face and that, I suppose, is you could just like, when you're talking to people and that, just rub them. Like, you're tired of that and it'd just be really awkward for them. That's about as far as it could go.
The thing is, at work, if you say you're up to your tits in it, they wouldn't know how busy you are. Are you busy or not busy?
Do you ever, I'm going to show immaturity here. Do the thing at work, if you've got like a good pal at work and if you're in a meeting, you try to do things to put them off, like, like if you could discreetly rub your nipple and see, obviously they know you're doing it, things like that. You've got any hijinks. It's worse now on video calls. I had in my last job before I moved, we were doing a team meeting. I'll be careful how I phrase it. Somebody got upset, right, in the team meeting. It's a video call, and this boy has messaged me to try and make me laugh, right, because I'm chairing the team meeting, right. So I obviously have to be fucking sensitive and kind of straight faced. And so it starts off with some funny fucking messages, and then the next message I've got, he's got his top off and everything, and he's got like a photo like. I just like a fucking phone turned around, like that's me. That was, I was going. That happens sometimes with quick banging that as well. If he's ever noticed me looking Colin will sometimes if somebody said something, Colin will.
I'll expose me and Liam here and all then because we've been partial to doing that now and again if we've been recording quick bangers and sending a quick text message.
It gets in the rules of video calls. The way it's like the big advantage for work is you can just kind of do that or instant messaging or whatever. Right, William said apple pie, custard or ice cream. Greg, start with you.
I don't really like it, to be fair, so I'd probably just have the ice cream and fuck the rest.
Man, apple pie is quality. What about you, Brian?
Ice cream.
What flavour?
Doesn't matter. My belly can't taste the difference.
Just get it a wee stir. Craig?
Sorry, I've just got this. I've just got this image. If we bell it. Oh, nom.
Aye, Brian and Granny Smith.
Oh, burping the worm over his pudding. Jesus. Ice cream. Move
Ice
on.
cream. Liam?
Both good here.
Ewan?
Ice cream for me. Aye. Same reason as Greg. I'm not a big fan of apple pie.
I'll go with the custard. I fucking love a bit of custard. Kaiser Soze said, if you could morph into one piece of furniture, what would it be and why? Ewan, I'll start with you.
Nicole Scherzinger's dressing chair. Easy.
Why is that?
She'll always have somewhere to sit. Forever.
Liam?
Fuck knows. I have no fucking idea how to answer that question.
Craig?
I'd probably go for any bit of furniture that isn't like a bed or a chair or that, just so that I'm not getting fucking farted on every second of the bastard day. I don't know. Like fucking a sideboard. I don't know what question, eh? What question?
A fucking sideboard. Greg?
Don't know if I can match up that sideboard like.
Normally it comes in like a little set. You get one for the telly, you get one for like beside the couch and that, and a big one up. Oh god.
Okay, what I love about this is the fact that when you said that, you sound like your voice is breaking as well because you're not feeling well tonight.
Oh man.
It's a transition and starting.
Oh,
I'm gone, to be fair. Move on, please.
What about you, Brian?
Oh man.
I've got to be a coat stand, haven't I?
Obviously. That was the first thing that fucking sprung to my mind as well. Wait, it's going to get to Brian, he's going to say a fucking coat stand. So fucking predictable.
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. I'll go for a fucking sideboard as well. I had to consider that before, but it sounded great, so that's my answer to it.
Stand by text.
Right, Vince Robinson said, what's everybody's pre-cut final rituals now that nobody can go? Liam, what are you doing on Saturday?
Stay as close to a fucking bog as possible.
Pervert. Ewan?
Getting hammered for the moment I wake up, so I didn't remember anything about it.
Decent. You going to the pub for it? Or you just,
in the house, and then probably after, I figured try and keep it as normal as possible. If it was a cup final day, I'd have been out getting pissed by about 9 o'clock, so keep it constant. It worked in 2016.
Aye, good stuff. Greg, what about you?
Oh, to be honest, it'll be a liquid breakfast. For a start, be getting up at 7:30, opening a can. Probably say a wee prayer to the big man and and just fucking pray that we actually do it. To be honest, it is every week / semi / final. So I won't change tradition.
I like the desire to keep it consistent as well. It's kind of the message with Jack Ross as well. He said like he's not changing anything. I like how everybody's bought into that and just going, fuck it, that's what we're doing as well. Leo, as you already, Craig.
Aye, just getting on it. Nerves. Just get as much bevy in as early as possible, and hopefully last to the final whistle. That's what I hope.
Did it crash on the couch before the full time whistle?
Oh no!
On the sideboard.
On the sideboard.
Just falling into it.
I fucking love you. Brian, what are you doing for
it? Usual pre-match prep for me, Matthew. Just going to B&Q and touch myself until I get chucked out.
I used to care a boy who worked beside at McDonald's. His name was Dougie. I can't remember his surname. And he was a big fucking lanky boy from Idri. And he came in, he was late for work one day. He said, where have you been? And he says, I was in Jenner's and I just was seeing how many pairs of tights I could touch before somebody noticed. Like the mannequins, but it's just the leg. It just to say that's what he was going to do for the day. He's just going, just give them a wee touch.
You know whatever happened to that guy?
Eh?
Nah. You know where he ended up?
No idea. probably the brass section. Just fucking take it up a level each time.
Oh, girl.
150k in Hanlon Hill said if each podcast was to consider themselves a boy band, which real life boy band would they be? Who would be the biggest shagger in the band, and who would be Gary Barlow? So, who wants to take that for down the slope? Who would you be?
I think
probably the shagger is for a start, and it's not you or Harry. So
I reckon we'd be boys to men because they were boys before I joined, and now they're men.
Oh, blow your name fucking trumpet, I kind of know exclusively a boy band, but I was going to go just maybe ABBA for the Swedish connection with Melker Hallberg in our corner.
Aye.
Gary Barlow would probably be me. Fancies himself just a little bit too much more than he actually should.
Brian, your knowledge of boy bands is better than mine, so I'll defer to your superior knowledge here. Who are we?
Robson and Jerome.
Right. Right, are you taking the Shagger Award to take it?
If you want. If you're up for it.
We'll give John Gary Barlow because he's not here. Right.
Just substitute the piano for a laptop.
Laptop. Bashing out on the fucking hit spreadsheet. Ewan McAleese said, would you eat lab-grown meat? And what if the cells used to grow the meat had come from Alan McGregor? Craig, lab-grown meat, you into that?
Aye. Yeah, I don't understand it. If it looks good, it smells good, and it tastes good, I'll eat it.
See, if you ate it and somebody tell you after the event, would it disgust you or would you not be bothered?
Nah, no bothered, mate. I mean, you've eaten I eat burgers out the burger van on the way down Easter Road sometimes, you know what I mean? And I'm no ashamed to say it either, don't care. But that's got to be worse. That's got to be like gerbil meat or something like that that's in there. So, nah, I'll eat anything.
Gerbil meat would be a pretty fucking inefficient way to make a burger, by the way. You need fucking hundreds of them. Anyway, Greg, what's your views on lab meat?
To be honest, after the whole horse meat thing, it's not really an issue, is it? Just need to grow up and get on with it. But if Alan McGregor had been anybody, I wouldn't fucking put it in my mouth, to be honest.
That's how zombies happen. Like, well, obviously the Rangers connection wasn't really been in that, but how they all end up fucking angry and try to eat folk.
Like Shaun of the Dead.
Aye.
Alan McGregor's a huge zombie. Aye.
Pretty much certain that's what happened. Brian, you eating it? Lab-grown meat?
Aye.
Good. Right. Liam.
I think I would mind like about 10 years ago I was watching this like documentary on one of those Sky channels. It's like after like the channels you used to go past where there's a load of shite on. And about 10 years ago they were predicting that we were all going to be
who's all been past those channels? And what were you looking for?
a documentary on
Geographic.
people eating crickets and other bugs to get their protein. Remember 10 years ago they predicted that we were going to be eating all that stuff, and I don't know a single person that eats crickets or bugs or anything for their dinner.
How's that?
Okay.
Boom, boom. Ewan.
Aye, probably. Is that not just what fucking corn is?
No.
Shite fake meat. Is that not? See, when I seen that question come in, I just thought, is that not what corn's supposed to? Is that not what that is? Just a fucking substitute with shite in it.
Well, they've got stuff like fake meat now, anyway. So,
but I don't see why. I don't see why no. Like, so what? It doesn't have to be naturally sourced for me.
Nah.
Like I said, recovering fat bastard. So,
I think if you'd eat a kebab, you'd pretty much fucking eat anything. It's like a kebab or a horse lasagna, whatever. Then you'd be fussy if you turn your nose up at the lab-grown meat. Lucy Van Pell, I never know how soon to start drinking before big games. Was yesterday too early? No,
absolutely fucking not.
Ladij, do Eels have hips? That's just stunned silence there. Let's see what they go. What?
What the fuck?
The Eels have hips.
This was because Martin Boyle say someone could shake their hips like an eel or something this week.
Aye.
Is that where that comes from?
Well, he said
because he tagged.
Aye, he said help Martin Boyle. The Eels have hips.
I think Martin Boyle.
I couldn't tell you what
he's a bit
like.
Less known the birds and the bees. I think Martin Boyle.
I think they do, and the reason is you never see them wearing a pair of jeans. So I think the only thing stopping them wearing the jeans is that they've no fucking hips. So if they try to put them on, just fall off. So I'm pretty sure that's what David Attenborough said one time as well. So we'll take that as answer and move on. Cross-eyed Papish Dog said, do you think it would be better if your teeth were soft and only got hard when you were hungry? Or are you happy with the current system?
I'm happy with the current system because if you were waiting until your teeth got hard, then what if you had erectile issues with your teeth?
I'm
a Viagra.
From a safety point of view, I think that the current system's suitable and fit for purpose. So, yeah.
Aye. I've had enough problems with things not getting hard on time or on cue and getting hungry in the wrong fucking situation, so I'm quite happy with the current setup.
What a great question that is. Imagine you sunk into like a pure decent meal and you couldn't eat it because your teeth went soft after about 2 seconds.
We had years back. I've talked about my old flatmate before on the podcast, Dave, and there was a night. So me and my flatmate Dave and my girlfriend at the time, we all shared the same flat, but we all worked in the same place as well. So David finished early and gone home, and we didn't ken this, but he decided he was going to surprise us with a fucking meal, right? And Dave was a right huffy bastard, so he's gone out his way to fucking cook all this big fancy spread for us. Me and Fiona had just gone straight to the pub after work, so we've gone to the pub, gone down Leith, down to the shore, had some food, stayed out till maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock, crawled home, and he's like fucking raging that we weren't there for the surprise dinner, and we had to eat. Just to kind of appease him, we had to eat another fucking 3-course meal so that he didn't kick off. And if I had to rely on my teeth getting hard to eat that one, I would have been fucked. There would have been no way I could have pretended that I was hungry enough to eat it. But
and do your teeth have the same problem as other situations when you're drunk? Like, because then you'd never be able to enjoy a good after night out scran either.
Imagine the calories you'd save, bro.
Good point.
Aye. Maybe would have its advantages. Right. I'll go with the current system though. It's better. Right, you and McAleese again. What's on top of your fridge, and is it worth stealing? Craig, what's on top of your fridge?
Fuck all. Nothing. So you can have it.
All right. Liam.
Cans. Just cans.
Full cans or empty cans?
Oh no, full cans of juice and beer and that.
Nobody keeps empty cans. Like I can understand like a glass bottle and that, but nobody keeps empty cans, do they?
Some folk do. Some folk make fucking can was and stuff like that. Like
Gimps.
aye.
Can get rid.
Brian, show us yours.
What the gimp?
His can was.
Bring out the gimp.
Ewan, what's on top of your fridge?
A couple of boxes of stale cereal so he can have them if he wants. Like, we don't even keep the cereal there anymore. That's how long they've been there.
What kind of cereal is it?
Oh, now you're asking. There'll definitely be a box of Weetabix there for when I was going through the healthy stage. That they might even be unopened, so you can have them. And then probably some Cocoa Pops or something.
There was a boy in my team at my old job who he'd had an email through for it was like fucking Costco or something like this for Cocoa Pops, like on a special offer. It was can buy whatever size a box, and he didn't read it properly, but he ended up with like fucking about 40 boxes of Cocoa Pops that got delivered there. So he just like actually filled his kitchen with them. Anyway.
I want to know what's on top of that boy's fridge, because he's asked that question. He's got something decent on top of his fridge, like. Otherwise, you didn't think about that.
Aye, well, everybody has stuff like this. We've got pens for writing on the calendar that's next to it. That's about all that's up there. And a packed lunchbox by the look at. So, nothing worth stealing. What about you, Liam? Or I've asked you, Craig. I've asked you, Greg.
My fridge is
I fucking knew that would happen.
My fridge is squeezed in between cupboards, so all that's above the fridge is a cupboard. So feel free to knock your silly, because that cupboard's not been used since 19 man.
Is it a cupboard or a sideboard? This is an important question.
It's definitely a cupboard.
Right. We'll
Sorry
move on.
to disappoint.
No, it's fine.
No, you and your sideboard fetish, but that's a cupboard. If you're into cupboards, like mate, just talk to me and I'll get you in. You can have a look.
Just go to B&Q with Brian.
I'll be there Saturday.
Brian, what's in your fridge?
Ronnie Corbett.
Is he dead?
Probably.
That's what he's
No, he is now.
Aye, he is.
No fed him for a while.
This is fucking cold to live.
Cocoa Pops, to be fair.
He's chilling.
Cross-eyed paper stoggy. And what's your favourite bit to play on in a play park?
Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I was at a ball day. It's all swings and roundabouts. Aye, right. For those of you that are still allowed to go to play parks, right? So you can sit this one out, Craig, Brian.
He's the only one that's allowed to go now.
What's your favourite bit?
Kennedy was a wee. Did you used to get? Oh, it was like I don't know, a fucking bowl that you could spin fast as fuck, and you just used to launch one of your mates in it, and about 5 years would just spin it until they spewed. Right, that was a good laugh, but other than that,
I mean, when I used to go to Stockton Park, like this is years ago. This isn't anytime soon. I think the last time I went was I was about 12 or something, and they had like a wee digger. I used to play in that all the time.
With the levers to manoeuvre it. Aye, quality.
But even when you were 12, 12's quite old to be playing in a digger like.
Fuck you, Craig. There's a
sideboard.
There's a park.
Builders listen to this.
There's a park in Glenrothes called Beveridge Park. So see if you go up to when we're playing Wraith, there's a park just in the back of the stadium. It's called Beveridge Park. And if you go around the sort of the back, we take the kids up there. It's a really good park for them. But they've got this. How would you describe it? So it's like a big pole in the middle, and then there's a big heavy metal pole like the pivots across it. And on one end there's like bars that you hang on to, and on the other end of it is like a wee seat, right? And it's fucking impossible because the bit for hanging on is way too high for kids to hang on to. Like, so you have to lift your kid up first of all, at the same time as trying to get somebody to hold the other side still, so it doesn't just fucking burrow around. So we've got like my daughter and her pal there, and we're trying to fucking one hanging on. So she's hanging on and just fucking hanging on and no more before she falls to a fucking serious injury. Get the other daughter on the seat, and as we move, they start swinging around. So the one hanging down starts swinging round, and as they as they come round, they gain momentum. So it swings round, falls off, obviously, and did I get interrupted there? The phone just went on the fucking MacBook. I was like, halfway through, what's happening? So one falls off, and then stands up, but she stands up just as the swing's coming back round with the other seat. So it's about to fucking wipe her out, and I'm like, oh fuck! So being obviously the responsible adult, I kind of done the superhero grabber, chucked her out the way, but then I caught the full force of this fucking metal swing, crack in the head. Honestly, like I was seeing stars for a bit there, just like lying absolutely kind of paralysed on the sandy bit, and everyone's just pissing themselves laughing. I'm literally thinking, going, this is one of those head injuries, one of those freak injuries you hear about where somebody's died, and that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to like have a severe brain bleed or something and just fucking die. And
paedophile gets comeuppance in playground.
So I don't like parks for that reason.
Just a little bit. It's in Fife, so that's just a little bit of natural selection, really, isn't it?
This is true. This is true. Right, and again for Cross-Eyed Papish Dog, if you could have sex with people from any time in the past, what is the maximum amount of time into the past that you would happily go before going, nah? And he suggested 60s, Roman times, Trojan, or Neanderthal. How far back would you go?
When was Picasso alive? Because I wouldn't want to shag any of his paintings.
When was who?
Picasso. When was he alive?
I think when he was alive. But you're right. That's yeah.
Aye. I reckon
basically that's how Stevie Footman happened. He's like direct descendant from folk of that era.
The easy answer, mate. Swinging 60s, innit? You know what I mean? You're getting a good time there, aren't you? Like I've seen Austin Powers. I know how it works. You know what I mean?
My answer's similar. Was it like when Prohibition was a thing in America? Was that like the 20s or something? When Great Gatsby set? Aye, that did me fine. Although last year, when I actually was getting my hole, would also be acceptable. like that's also all right.
Let's go back to the last time you remember.
like that's all right, I know.
What about you, Greg?
I don't think I could go any further back in the 30s, so maybe for the 40s upwards. But before then, it's a fucking write-off, innit?
Slim pickings during the war, though, innit?
I don't know if you don't get put to war, though.
True. And if you do get put to war,
if you ever watch Chewing the Fat, then
I think it would depend where you went as well, because like if you were like Victorian England, that would be crap. Like Victorian Britain would be crap because they were. But if you think like the Egyptians, like the ancient Egyptians and that, they look like they were up for a bit of banter, like the old Romans and that. So
they did also like mummify themselves and that, and torture people and shit. So fuck that. Nah,
just kinky.
60s,
isn't it? Just a bit kinky.
LSD, good music, not a single fuck given. And back then, nobody knew anything was bad as well. Nobody knew that smoking was bad for you. There was no health and safety. You could just go and do what you want. I'd just like to live a week of that life. I'd just being like, fuck, do what I want.
That's what it's like when you're stupid as well. So like,
that's why I want to go back.
That's how you end up getting knocked out in play parks.
Aye. Brian, what about you? How far back would you go?
Only as far back as when it was considered unacceptable for women to have hair down there. It happens very rarely now, but never and again you're met with a woman who looks like she sat on Brian May's shoulders, and you're So I wouldn't want to go back to those days. So whenever it became fashionable for women to go for the full Brazilian, that's the cut-off point. From there onwards. Anything else, just it's a bush tucker trial. I don't know what I'm doing down there at the best of times, but when you're having to wade through fucking that's just it just the difficulty level goes up. It's like for intermediate to world class. I'm not doing it.
Advanced. Kaiser Soze said, would you rather shit your pants in public once a year for the rest of your life, or shit yourself in private every day for the rest of your life?
This is like a busman's holiday for me, this question.
You're exempt for this one. Greg?
Why shit yourself in private?
Every day?
I could do it in public because you're not living that down.
No, you just
chuck the pants in the wash or whatever, or chuck them in the bin. But yeah, I wouldn't want to do it in public, to be fair. Especially if you didn't know when it was going to happen.
Aye,
that's part of the fun.
The surprise element. Ewan, what about you?
I want to stay at the house because half the time I'm just kicking about in a pair of shorts anyway, so just fucking slide out and continue with your day, go back and clean it up. But if you can when it was coming public, because you could get into a semi-public place, have standbys on, and then get on with the rest of your year. But his heat's fucked. That's my answer. Kaiser Soze's a prick.
Liam, what about you? Public or private?
I don't even need anyone else seeing that. I've just shit myself face. I will keep that between me and myself.
Craig?
I'm going public, me, once a year. I like a little bit of excitement in my life, like, you know what I mean? So you could be out, you could have that little bit of a dicky tummy, and you could be like, oh, today could be the day. So could it be the day? I don't know.
My man.
Yeah, but then the thing is, as well, is like, you've got your mates and that, then you obviously you get like a few new mates here and there that you know, but people would know that it would be a yearly thingy. So the people that you'd be out with would know that it's someone, and they'd get excited as well. They'd be like, "Is today the day?" Like,
you can imagine like Bet 365 and like the specials. What day you going for?
Over or under 26th of July.
Sweepstake.
Like a kind of like an alternative shitey birthday.
But then knowing me, I'd be out there. It would happen. I'd be like, yes, it's done. Happy days. And then I think, actually, was that the 1 yearly one?
It's no guarantee that it might not happen again.
even more mystery. Yeah, I love that question. Yeah, public.
But like, what's the thresholds in that? Is it once every calendar year, or is it once a year? Because then you could end up shiting yourself every day. Because for the moment you shite yourself, does that kickstart the next year, and you might shite yourself again the next day?
Calendar year.
I mean? I need to be a calendar year for it to be fair.
Then I'm going public then, because then you shite yourself and you can just live easy for the next however long. Aye.
Would you invest in nappies and just kind of, wear them up until the adult nappies until the day that it happens, and then you can just revert back to normal underwear after it?
That's quite expensive. That adds an expense to your shop, doesn't it? Whereas just sacrifice a pair of boxers every year.
Aye, but see if
you can't trust an adult that wears nappies.
But see, if you had this the safety nappy on, if we call it that, right, which we will, if you had the safety nappy on until the day, would you take advantage of it for just having a pish whenever you wanted as well?
Just reverting back to the last question though. Imagine trying to get your hole and you've got to take your boxers off and then the nappies off. Good luck.
You just explain it. It's because I might shite myself, eh? You should understand.
One ball hanging out.
Could be a shite day. Anyway, you should have shaved. Don't care what you're complaining about. And Kyle says again, would you rather have your eyes open or closed for the rest of your life, Craig?
Oh dear.
Sideboard.
Something about Pat Fairlin and his signings.
I'm going to say open because I'm pretty sure that you could get those eyedroppers and that, and you just get used to tanning them in, wouldn't you?
Liam?
I'd have to say open, but I'm going to just reveal what a twat I am. I sleep with one of those eye mask kind of things on anyway when I go to bed to block out the natural light. I know that is very feminine, but fuck it.
Well, yeah, good for you. Each to their own. You turned your nose up at a nappy, but I can go. Nobody's judging. Right, Ewan?
Oh, open all day long. I think being blind would be, that's probably the one thing I'm scared of. Like, so eyes all day open for me. I say that one of many things I'm scared of. Sorry, just let me rephrase that last sentence. But eyes open, comfy.
What were you, Greg?
Eyes open. You never know what you might miss. To be fair, and maybe Hibs will win the cup, and you're blind, and all you're doing is waving a fucking stick about because you can't see anything. So, aye, would have to be open. But I've seen Liam in a totally different light now. Fucking eye mask.
Shut up, anti-aging cream.
Should come my jail sentence.
Brian, what about you?
First of all, I'm going to come to the defence of Liam because I shave one leg, so when I'm going to bed, it feels like there's a woman beside me. West only. I'm going to keep my eyes open. I think I may as well be subjected to the absolute shit show that is my life, so I may as well watch the whole fucking car crash unfold around me.
Fair dues. I'd go with eyes open as well, because kind of my luck, if I had the eyes shut, that'd be the day that I struggled to sleep. It'd fucking annoy you if you couldn't get to sleep and your eyes were shut the whole fucking time. So,
or it'd be the one day that you shit yourself in the year and you can't. You're unsure if you're properly cleaned up.
What's the feel about for it?
Imagine you're having to have your eyes permanently closed if you're at Easter Road, though, and all you can's going on in the game is just for listening to the clowns that sit beside you. Like, you wouldn't have a clue. Like,
no,
that'd be more entertaining.
I think you'd go once, you'd have one game, and then you'd be like, fuck that, I'm not going back. Right, Kaz, would you rather have a vagina on your forehead or lots of penises up your back like a stegosaurus? Stegosauruses didn't have penises up their back. That's historically flawed. That he's thinking of the Brachiosaurus.
Questions are deeply concerning, to be fair. That people say
my answer remains the same as what it was for his last question. Check his brain out and he's a sick.
All right,
does he need reported?
The police can check hard drives. I need to start checking heads, to be fair, with some of these questions.
Liam asked, how many Matt Macy's would it take to reach the moon? I think 3 is the correct answer, isn't it? Three Matt Macy's and you're pretty much fucking there. Ricky said, why is it the expression tits up a bad thing? Tits anyway are a good thing, surely. Any
good point, well made.
That's a great question.
Good point, well made. Aye.
Colin Montgomery's tits on there a good thing.
Aye. Always thought kind of like fun size sweeties, if they were properly fun size, they were shaped like tits. Dr. Ray of Sunshine said, if Bono has found what he's looking for, why wasn't what he was looking for humility? Or are we to assume he's still looking? Or was he looking for something else? What else was he looking for? Prick.
Right, that's sent in by Ewan Wilson, by any chance.
what was Bono looking for? Any idea?
Well, he is the next prick, yeah.
Oh,
he's a West Brit. Don't like him. Get him to fuck.
Craig?
Get Bono so far to fuck.
Aye.
Right in the sideboard.
Take Geld off.
No, he's not getting put pride of place in your living room. No happening. Get him to fuck.
All right. What time is Venga Bus actually coming? That was from Dog Welder 2099. This has been waiting ages.
I once necked a bird who was the spitting image of the lead singer of the Venga Boys.
I once flexed one that was the spitting image of a bus. Right, Venga Bus. No, it's not coming. 150k on Hanlon Hill. Likewise, what actual time is Chico time? I don't care if there's an answer to that. Have you seen the Twitter account, the Swear Clock?
Right.
Yeah.
I discovered that yesterday you can submit your own swears to it as well, which is has a lot of potential. Cal Chalmers, have you ever lost anything important like a hand at a celebration?
Oh, well, I thought, get up the zombie mutant Ouija bastards. Oh, sorry.
Did you see the video of it?
Aye,
Everybody's seen the video of it, haven't they? Like, at first, I
What was
thought
this?
somebody had chucked something. The Rangers fan that had the flare. It basically, he's
he's
holding the
missed it.
smoke bomb, and all of a sudden it just goes fucking bang like that and just blows his hand off.
Oh, aye, yeah, I did see that actually. Aye.
How could you not remember that? Like, how did
No,
I have to
'cause-
explain that to you, Craig? Like, how,
'cause the-
what?
Because as soon as you mentioned the Rangers and the and the goings on at that time, the only video I could it popped straight into my head was that wee motion bird with the boys like, come on then, Fallout Boy.
Jumping onto the hedge.
Just the front flip. And then it's just the wee bit before it with the boys like, come on then, Fallout Boy.
Have you seen the? I'm assuming it's a Celtic fan. St. Kenny Rangers sing that the sad face song. You seen the Celtic fan singing the "Hey there, you with the pyro," and it was like,
Where did your hand go?
Where did your hand go? And live it up.
Fucking hell. Folk wasting their time with these things, eh? Aye. Right, Cal Chalmers also said, on a scale of Alan McGregor, how do you feel about UEFA changing the group stage qualification goalposts? That was quite tight, eh?
Aye.
I don't
Aye,
know if it's legitimate. There's everybody kind of was putting their stock in this one boy's website, and it seemed fair enough. But
Is it a change of the goalpost though, or is it just so happens that because the teams that have made it to these levels of each competition, it's just so happened that we're dipping out?
I think it's quite more that than they've changed in the goalpost, to be fair.
I think it's too confusing for.
I'm not entirely sure, but either way, it's a kick in the stains, isn't it?
Nah,
But look at it. At the end of the day, win on Saturday, and that will take whatever comes in the summer. Let's not get carried away.
aye, normally I'd like to try and ken about these things. Like I'll have a wee read, so
Aye.
I can explain them when John asks. But I had a look at it and I was like, oh, fuck, I have no clue. Like I read it and then I read it again and I was like, no. So I'm with you and just hope we win and then see what happens. Right, I think we're nearing the end, guys. You'll be happy to hear. Right, Alex said, did Coolio ever get there? And if so, did he meet his mate that he was singing about if he ever got there? And what did they do when they got there?
He got there and he was waiting on Bono, but Bono couldn't find where they were supposed to meet up.
Do you think Bono's just got a shite sat nav? Oh, he has. Hasn't he?
Because he says turn around.
His sat nav is where the streets have no names. This is an actual factual true story. When I worked at McDonald's at Meadowbank, Coolio came in. He was playing a gig at the Liquid Rooms, I think, and he came in with all his entourage, and they all ordered fillet fish.
Oh.
Which, if you've ever worked at McDonald's, that's the biggest pain in the arse one to make.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'd have chucked them out. They take fucking ages, mate. Like, they are ridiculous.
There was loads of them, eh? So
why would you go to? Why would you go to McDonald's for fish?
Well, he maybe wasn't familiar with chippies and that. Like if there's chippies and.
But just it fucking. I mean. No, it's fucking the foundation's there as burgers. You go for burgers and chips. That's why you go to McDonald's. I didn't go to a prostitute for a hug. You go to.
You lying bastard! You lying bastard!
He doesn't go for one, but he ends up with one, and a wee cry.
It's 50 quid. Hold me.
I can get you out of this. You're better than this. You're better than this.
My friend has a sideboard.
I'm going to stick up for the fillet fish, by the way. See if you're ever hungover. I know this for being hungover working at McDonald's. Fillet fish, didn't they put the tartar sauce in it, bit of mayonnaise, bit of ketchup, and fucking loads of cheese and salt. And it's a fucking business.
Oh,
only if you're hungover. It works as cheap.
You get a grip, man.
Decent, and the fish fingers as well. Oh, good. Fish fingers are good anyway.
Fish fingers language.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Right, having that. So a fillet of fish is just a big fish finger. It's like, it's like
Just the concept. What Brian said, it's just wrong.
Well, I disagree. Right. Charlie asks, who's the grumpiest supporter you've sat beside at Easter Road?
Greg.
I actually wasn't, because the boy in front of us fucking said we should have signed Stevie May, so don't start your shite with me. He'd seen Deutsch for about 5 minutes, and I decided that Deutsch wasn't good enough and we should have signed Stevie May.
When we played Alloa at home in the League Cup, I think, was it?
Yeah.
And Deutsch scored that day, no?
Not the angriest, but there was a boy when we were playing the last season that we were on the ground in the game that Porteous got sent off for that tackle and Barisic was never sent off. There was a boy who came up the top of the famous five upper. He was looking a wee bit worse for wear, and he was chanting, and instead of using his hands to clap in between the chant, he was smacking his head off the side of the famous five stand to do the chanting for him.
That's levels, isn't it? Like, I mean, fucking hell, you've got to go some. We used to sit the West Lower down near the away fans, and there was a boy that sat, wasn't right beside us, but a couple of rows behind. It was for like the Emerald Isle branch or something like this. And he just used to fucking abuse the players like fucking relentlessly. And you remember the Scottish Cup game against Hearts, after they'd beat us in the final, we played them the next, it was the third round of the next competition. And for the whole game, he's fucking giving Witherspoon pelters, and he was fuming when Witherspoon scored. Like, you could see him fucking seek. That's how fucking much of a dick this guy was. And then, do you mind the day there was a protest about Rod Petrie, everybody about, and on that day, Leanne Dempster was meeting just fucking various Hibs fans. Well, I was in at that meeting, and that boy was at that meeting as well. And he stood up. So when I got to kind of questions, they'd done the introductions and everything. His question was, "Are you going to sack Rod Petrie?" Obviously, she couldn't fucking sack Rod Petrie. So she says, like, "Well, no, that's no in my remit." And he went, "Oh, that's fine, I'm out of here." And he fucking stormed off. I was like, imagine being that angry in your fucking life. Like, you just fucking deprive yourself of any fucking joy. And then we moved seats after that season anyway, just to kind of move away from him, because he was a fucking prick. Anyway, right. Charlie, again, on WWE programming, you get the "Don't try this at home" message before the show. Have you ever ignored said message and injured yourself or someone else as a result? Everybody has, surely.
The best one for me is obviously Harry that does the podcast with us as well. We were up at his flat in Stirling for New Year 2 years ago or something maybe. And one of my mates, we've been out in that, and then we've come in and it's just descended into slide tackling each other at like knee height in the hallway and like just fanning about and doing shit. Harry is on his bed sleeping, and my mate, I don't know if Jeff Hardy does like this sort of front flip, it's called a swanton bomb. My mate's tried to run, shouted swanton bomb, flew over Harry and smashed into his fucking wardrobe, and the wardrobes fell on top of him. Fucking world class.
What were you think?
There's no sideboards were hurt. Nah.
You get the stories?
Nah, I don't watch wrestling because I'm not a gimpy. So
what about kind of just the general warnings? Don't try this at home if you.
Nah. I mean,
I'm glad you came on tonight. This is fucking gold.
Pass.
Liam, what about you?
I once, no, actually not that long ago, I was going to say it was a long time ago, I once wanted to test just how strong Gorilla Glue was, and I glued myself to one of the doors in the kitchen. I don't know if that's a "don't try this at home" or not, but...
How strong was it? Like, how long did you get out of that?
It was strong enough for me to lose a fair bit of skin.
Oh, yeah, fucker.
That's fucking rank, that. I have a phobia of sticky stuff, so that gives me the absolute book.
So many questions, so many.
Where did that start?
Well, actual stickers are the worst one. You know when stickers start to lose their stickiness and they get that fucking hairy way, or if you get a wet sticker, is the fucking worst thing. Or I fucking hate it. It just gives me the book something fucking silly. That.
Why are your stickers wet?
Why are they here?
Why else? See what it tastes like.
Why have you got so many stickers?
So we didn't have many stickers in the house as a result. It was shite when the kids were wee because
James gives him a gold star every time he's been a good buddy.
We're sitting rocking in a corner. Get the fuck. Greg, you ever tried anything that you shouldn't have at home?
To be honest, just the usual one that kids used to do, was just jumping from couch to couch, like diving head first, kamikaze style into different couches. End up hurting yourself, but it's a good laugh in it.
Aye. What were you, Brian?
Just the usual. See how many bits of mechano you can stick up your bum.
Do you try to fart it out and there's like something that's been pre-made? You put up
no, nothing I can. I think I told on a podcast before that time I was deadly serious about gaffer taping my son to the fridge when he was about 6 months old. And I mean, I was headstrong with it. I was doing it, and I was forcibly removed by my missus at the time, who, well, unsurprisingly thought it was a bad idea. Apart from that, nah.
What would it be good if she said, "Don't be so fucking stupid. Look, you can just do this," and then open the fridge and just stuck him inside and shut the door. You didn't need to gaffer tape him. Just keep it out, keep him safe.
Go and sit beside Ronnie Corbett.
Willie said, "How come you have to wear a seatbelt in a car, but you can jump on the back of a motorbike with a helmet, and that's the only safety measure you have?"
I just don't get why you'd want to even go on a motorbike. That's just not for me.
Because you're accepting death if you get a motorbike, aye.
If you had a motorbike and you were on it, would you make the noise anyway? Like the
100%.
Like definitely.
Get in traffic, just
go back to childhood. We used to put like a can in the back wheel.
Aye.
That sounds like a motorbike.
Do you ever get? This is maybe a bit sick, but see if you're sitting in rush hour traffic and then the motorbikes start fucking it up right in between all the cars. Do you ever want to just put your hand out just to fucking knock them off? Aye, like, because it's, it fucking infuriates me. Like,
not so much like the rest of us. With motorbikes, mere cyclists, just get to fuck.
Try to better yourself, you cunt. Fucking get a car.
That's why we were talking about kind of emergency stuff that you keep in your car. I keep a big stick you just into the spokes.
Did I ever tell you about the time in the boozer? It was a Sunday. One of the heck was had come in the pub, and he'd come in. We've always got TV screens and that on. He's walked in. They went, "How did the Grand Prix go?" And then there was a boy in the back that just went, the whole pub just fucking erupted.
Right, last few questions, guys. We're getting there. Right, Liam asked if you had a wooden boat and over time you replaced every single wooden plank of that boat. Is it still the same boat or is it a new one?
Depends if you're a Rangers fan, doesn't
it?
Or Trigger.
Or Trigger, aye. Somebody answered that and said apparently like every 7 years, every cell in your body is replaced naturally.
You get too many sensible. That's what I've noticed. Obviously, because you tagged our accountant, you get too many folk giving sensible answers back to the questions. It's quite a learning experience.
I apologise in advance.
I learned more getting tagged in the tweets than I ever did at school.
Yeah, but if every cell in your body like regenerates after 7 years of that, does that mean you can get rid of like convictions of that asking for a mate? You're technically a new person.
How come your fingerprint stays the same then? I'm doubting that information.
Doesn't it if you stuck Gorilla Glue on your finger and put it on the kitchen door?
That's true. So can you get away with like more shit now than you would have been able to otherwise?
I'm like a whole new man.
Have you got any Gorilla Glue left? Right. What's your own personal score on a scale of 1 to 15 on the shit in your pants scale for Saturday? Greg, you go first. 1 to 15. How nervous are you?
5.
I like how you thought about that. Like, if I could just
no, I was speaking to John about it. I was speaking to John about it yesterday. Actually, this is the most comfortable I've felt going into one of these sort of games ever. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I'm like down here on my own, like, you know what I mean, or if it's just because
it does look quite empty behind you, to be fair.
You're the solitary boo. But no, I don't know. I think the team's just clicked, and I know St Johnstone are technically a bogey team, but I just think on the day of the races when it matters and that, we'll turn up. And if we score early, which I think we will, I think we could give them a pumping as well.
Happy days, right? So 5 for you, what about you, Liam?
I'm 0 right now, but the minute I have a first drink on Saturday, I'll be bad. And I'm one of these people that real smokers hate as well. I smoke when I drink, so that generally tends to be a natural laxative. So I'll probably be off the scale come 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Greg, where are you on the scale?
I'm pretty chill about it. I would say about a 1 or a 2 at the moment. I think it'll kind of hit home when I watch Time for Heroes tomorrow night. But yeah, I'm not. I think the more bevy you can get doing you the earlier, then you'll be fine. But I'll wait and see. I'm really not nervous at the moment though.
Decent, Ewan.
Same really. 3 or 3, something like that. I think saying, see, because they're not playing a bit of the old firm, I think it's easier because none of the media outlets give a fuck. So, like, I don't think there's been as much coverage yet, and that I don't know if that's just made up.
Just the whole team's getting
just
fucking.
I was just going to say, how can you be nervous when half your team's going to be away by Saturday? So
it's mental, eh? Brian, what about you?
On a scale of 1 to 15, shit in my pants. Probably I'm 15, but that's irrespective of Hibs playing or no. I'm a 15 any day that shit in my pants. But in terms of the game, 0. If we win, brilliant. If we didn't, after 2016, I genuinely could not give a fuck. And that's the God's honest, truthful answer. If we win, brilliant. If we didn't, so be it.
2016's a total game changer, eh?
Aye, that was a monkey off the back. I never thought I'd see it. My uncle, my grandparents, etc., they never seen it. I saw us win it. I had a brilliant weekend. And I'm happy with that. If that's the only trophy I ever see Hibs win for the rest of my life, I'm fine with that.
I think that's the big thing in it, the fact that the monkey's off the back in it. Because normally you'd be going into this game and everybody would be like, is it going to be this year?
Yeah.
Aye.
And the media are bigging it up and all that, like, you know, there's none of that. How good does it feel to just go into it and kind of be favourites? I know it's a cup final, so technically you're not, are you? But like going into it quite comfortable and just being like, you know what, let it be. And I think that'll rub off on the players as well, at least. Like, you know,
Do you think monkeys resent that saying? By the way, do you think that it's giving them a fucking unfair bad rap?
Right. So we're looking at a new place to stay come 4:45.
It's just want to be fucking piggyback, eh? That's it. No, it's a fucking bad thing. Anyway, Andrew Brown said, will we have any squad left once the Daily Hun has finished selling off all our players? Nope. Dave Graham, should Paul Hanlon hold the cup up with one hand or a hand on each handle? Do you have a preference?
For me, it would have to be him alone. He's been the captain the whole season.
Two hands for me. Paul Hanlon doesn't look like he's no one for the holding it by the.
You did by the wee, what is it, like the neck or something? The what you would call that bit. You wouldn't hold it by one handle. It would be at the underside of the cup bit.
Nah, I would get 2 hands on it and really fuck it right in there.
Aye.
Off you go.
Fucking right into orbit. Nobody can ever win it again.
Right, Ladij asks, is the Kitman's name really Tam, or is it Tam the Kitman, similar to number 10 cat being called Larry the Cat?
That cat's
can any remember that boy for Hibs.net? I think he only appeared for a couple of weeks, but he took like people for Hibs and just posted songs. But he done one for Tam McCourt based on the lyrics for Rocket Man for Elton John. It's one of the finest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Fucking outstanding. And then he just fucked off.
Nothing will ever beat the song about beating Celtic though on Hibs.
Celtic on the run.
Aye.
Oh, Jesus.
We are Hibs, we are good.
Yes, Celtic got the
Fucking hell. There was a boy one time came on and pretended to be Dean Shields. So if you've been on Hibs.net long enough, Brian, you might remember it. The boy came on and says, "I'm Dean Shields, and I'll do a Q&A." And it was the most obviously no Dean Shields that you could fucking be. And folk just ripped the cunt out of him for fucking like for the whole afternoon until eventually one of the admins, this was like before my admin days, they could let it run long enough, and then they were just like, "Nah, I'm just ban this boy." But that was a good day. We fake Dean Shields. Right, that's all. Questions done. In fact, Craig, you had the last one, wasn't it? About you're gonna go ahead. You can ask it, and then that's us.
I just need to find it on my phone because I'm not as pre-organised as John is.
Right, it's not like we've had an hour and a half.
This?
Aye.
So I was reading the article in the Edinburgh Evening News. It was the Joe Newell one where he was talking about all the players and that. I just caught at the end of the week Kyle McGuinness, but the quote is, "Gentle as a little beast when it comes to pumping weights. He loves it. He's a little tank with a naughty, dark side." And my question is what is Kyle McGuinness's naughty, dark side?
I think he's the Emperor Palpatine.
He's got a fetish for being injured.
Naughty dark side when he plays on the fucking right hand side of the midfield or the left, whenever it was.
He's from Paisley, isn't he? I don't want to make any assumptions about people from Paisley, but I'll leave you to make your own.
Far from Paisley.
We'll just leave it there.
I might hunt us down.
I thought it was something like, because by the sounds of it, he thinks he's like he makes something of himself in the gym and that. Then he's one of these that like stands in front of the mirror taking thoughts and all that. I reckon it's something along the lines of like when he's finished using a bench and it's all sweaty and that, he gives it a right good sniff or something like that, afterwards. And he thinks that the rest of the boys don't notice it and that, but they're all watching it from behind that wee window or that, like, you know what I mean? He's in there like, oh.
Taking a line of sweat.
Aye, good. Brian.
Hi.
Snuff porn.
Snuff porn.
What did you just say there, Matty? Snuff porn? What, like snooze? Like the old...
No. Brian said snuff porn. As in Kyle McGuinness's dark side being particularly dark.
I thought you said snooze porn, though, like, you know that.
Lennon's right in there about it.
Loads of birds just putting loads of back in. Oh,
I kind of you were saying about folk from Paisley. I kind of know Paisley, right? But I had a pal who stayed in Motherwell for a wee while, right? Which is fucking close enough, right? As far as I'm concerned. We were through to watch the box. I can't remember who was when Anthony Joshua got knocked out by that fat Mexican boy, and Rui Jr. He might not be Mexican, right? I've maybe just been a bit racist there, right? But that's accidental racism if I have been.
Just ignore the part where you called him fat as well.
Well, I mean, that's no race. I call somebody fat. I'm fat. That's not a race. Like, anyway, we went the next day when we were coming back. We went to go to get a KFC, and came with the paint on the road, the directions, and Motherwell they spelled KFC wrong.
Fuck off.
three letters. It was KGC there. You got it.
Oh, God.
Stupid.
I was laughing when you said that. I was laughing when you said being fat isn't a race thing. It's definitely not a race.
Right. And that'll be us for night. Excuse me. Greg, Liam, Ewan, thanks very much for spending the evening with us. It's been excellent having you on. Do you want to plug the podcast before you
I'll let Gary Barlow take it.
I'm the one that fucking does all the work. Down the slope, down the slope one on Twitter. Just search Down the Slope podcast, I guess, on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to it. What do they say? All good podcast providers. Couldn't tell you. I think it's just they two. But
it's an excellent podcast, by the way. That's my feedback for you. It's my go-to Hibs podcast. If I didn't listen to Longbangers anyway, like we do it, so I don't know if I can listen back. Great job, and I would recommend everybody listening to go ahead and listen to it as well if you don't already do so. Right, Brian, Craig, thanks to you two as well for coming on. We'll be back with Quick Bang after the Cup final. Hopefully with a big fucking buzzing one with everybody pissed and celebrating. If not, it'll be a sombre affair and over in a couple of minutes, much like my sex life. And then on Monday, we'll be back with a Longbanger special. So until then, catch you later.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.